DeMar, Randy Urban, Associated Press. Obviously, you can't say enough about the importance of this game for you guys as a team, but specifically for you, what did it mean for you personally to have such a great game, especially with the adversity of the fouls and starting out a little bit slow?
Um, you know, I just try to come through for my team when they needed me, especially in the fourth quarter. Be aggressive. I missed a lot of easy shots, and they just kept feeding me the ball and had the confidence in me to keep going.
Eric Corrine, National Post. Pick up your fifth foul there, the offensive foul, and you motion to Dwayne to keep you in. He elects not to. What were you thinking then, and what was it like to have the end that you did?
I just had to realize, it was a lot of time on the clock, and they didn't want to risk it. Just my competitive spirit. Of course, I didn't want to come out, but it's a smart thing for me to come out and trust my team, going to keep the lead, and they put me back in to finish out the game.
Doug Smith, the Toronto Star. Amir, you guys have dominated them on the glass in 2 games. In what regard, like how important that is to your team, and how are you able to do that so easily?
That was our goal this game, to just pound them on the glass. They got pierced out to 4. Coach just told me go to the glass, every time, offense and defense. So we beat them 52-30, so that was the goal.
Can you just walk us through that last play, the dunk that put you up 4 with about 20 seconds to go, how you got so free?
We knew they were switching. I ended up with a D-wheel on me, and Grievous made a great pass, and I seen the basket. I really didn't want to have that pressure of shooting free throws, so I went straight to the basket and made a play.
Alex Raskin, Wall Street Journal. Are you guys concerned with the level of turnovers right now? It seems like you got away with it today. It was more costly in Game 1.
We definitely need to clean up on our turnovers. It's something we definitely beat ourselves on. We definitely have to go through film, do whatever we got to do to clean that up.
At the same time, we're trying to play fast, especially against Brooklyn, trying to get them down fast. And, sometimes that may cause some costly turnovers. And we understanding that, but, we still got to clean it up and limit it.
DeMar, Michael Grange from Sportsnet. Obviously, it's important to be 1-1 in the series, but in some ways it's just important to get a win and let people know that you're here and put a flag in the ground. Put a flag in the ground, so to speak.
Yeah, most definitely. It's not going to be a cakewalk, and we understand that. And, people who count us out, we don't pay no attention to that. We understand we could beat this team every time we go out there and play, and, that's what we're trying to do.
DeMar, Steve Simmons from Sun. After the 5th foul and the timeout at that point, you sat by yourself on the bench. What was going through your mind, and why did you choose not to join the rest of your teammates at that point?
It wasn't necessary not being able to join my teammates. It's just my competitive spirit. I was a little frustrated, just calm myself down that, I was a little frustrated that I couldn't be out there with my team, especially at that critical moment. Just me keep myself together, not be so frustrated, just staying focused.
Throughout the course of this season, you guys have all talked about being 15 deep. Tonight you had Vasquez and Patterson come in, but also Landry. What does that say about the team, and how big was his impact on the game?
We have one of the best benches in the league. Their job is to come out and give us energy and score the baskets. And they did that tonight. Vasquez played big, and Pat, even Landry Fields. He'd been under the weather, and he came out and played tremendous defense. And Joe Johnson. So everybody's held accountable, and when they come on the floor, they definitely know what to do, which is bring us energy.
Ian Harrison with the Associated Press. DeMar, did you feel like a different player today than you did on Saturday?
Yeah, the game is about adjustments. Honestly, I'm a student of the game. I went back, watched the whole game 2 or 3 times, and just understand where I could get my shots, opportunities where I could score, get easy buckets, and just me taking advantage of the mistakes I made the first game and not doing the same thing in this game, and coming out more aggressive.
Sorry, Rachel Brady from the Globe and Mail. Amir, how gratifying was this game for you personally, having the statistics that you had tonight?
It's definitely gratifying. The first game is the hardest one to get, and like I said, we definitely we cleaned up tonight. We were the desperate team. We played desperate. Tonight was definitely a must-win, and we came out and took that win. still a lot more to go, and just got to stay focused and keep going.
DeMar, Jeff Zilgate, USA Today. Was this game necessary for you tonight, especially the fourth quarter?
Yeah, I think so. Just me knowing I have to be there for my team. People they look to me to score the basket, keep us in the game, win us the game. So most definitely, I do think so.
DeMar, Steve Simmons, Toronto Sun again. You probably grew up watching Kobe Bryant close games and watching Michael Jordan in the fourth quarter. What did it feel like tonight in a playoff game to be able to do what you did down the stretch?
I mean, it's everything you dream about, especially when you become a professional athlete. Be at the highest level and have the trust from your coaching staff and your teammates to have the ball in your hand and win a game for them. That's big, and I appreciate all 14 guys in that locker room and the coaching staff to have that trust in me to take them shots in the fourth quarter.
DeMar, Amir, Natalie Stoberman, NBA TV Canada. How emotional did you find this game to be?
Very. We have to play like that. Definitely, it's a lot of emotions. We really want to go out there and win and show the NBA, the league. We are a good team, and it was definitely emotional. And like I said, we were the desperate team tonight, and we got to play like that through the whole series. It's going to take every ounce, every player, every fan. So we need everybody.
Bob O'Neill, CHCH. You've had the comfort of about 20,000 people, fans going crazy to support you guys through this early playoff run. Now the table's turned, what Masai said, you're going into a hostile environment. Just describe what it's going to be like for you guys now to hop on the plane and go into Brooklyn now.
I mean, I think we always play well on the road under hostile environments. I think we proved it this year. We go in there. It's really no pressure when we play on the road. That's how we think. We go in a hostile environment. We understand it's just us. We don't pay attention to the crowd, to the odds being stacked against us. We understand everything is on us, and that's how we play.
Amir, can you talk about the confidence that you guys have in DeMar and how much confidence you must have in him based on the performance he gave tonight?
He's our all-star. We definitely look to go to him. Anything we can do to get him open or get him a bucket, we look for him first. And that's the main confidence we have in him. He definitely proven it this season by his play. We definitely look for him.
What about the difference between Saturday and today?
I feel like it was just playoff jitters. Like I said, the first game is the hardest game to get. We just had to go through film and like he said, look for his shots, and he did that tonight.
Bruce Arthur, Toronto Star, over here. For both of you, Amir, you said you wanted to show the NBA something. What do you want to show the league, and why does it matter to prove something to the rest of this league?
Just for me and DeMar, we've been through the ups and downs of this team, been through 80-something players and different coaches. This year we broke so many records, and we finally made it to this level, and I feel like we have a duty just to prove that we are, a great team, and it just means a lot, for me just to be here for 5 years and finally get to this stage.
I mean, like you said, we've been here when people just thought, you can come in Toronto and get a win. We've been through all that, and it was frustrating seasons, and we want everybody to know when you play against the Toronto Raptors, you're gonna have to fight. You're gonna have to bring your game, and that's the passion every single guy on this team has, this organization have, and for us to go through the struggle and start from the bottom and, work our way up and still don't get the respect that we deserve. We understand we still got a long way to go.
Can't hear you.
Would it have been hard to send that message if you're down 0-2? You got to win a game to.
We weren't going down 0-2. Like I said, we were the desperate team. We had to play desperate. There was no way we were going to lose that game. It was a must-win for us.
Steve Brotherston, Pro B-Ball Report. DeMar, you've been through all the rough times, and this year you've been hitting 30-point games on a regular basis. And in this series, game one, it was Paul Pierce who stood up in the last 6 minutes and scored the points they needed to win. Tonight, you did it. Are you ready to assume that mantle as the guy this team looks to in the last 6 minutes to win them a game?
I think so, but you know, the crazy thing about our team, it could be anybody. It could be Kyle Lowry one night. It could be Grievous. It could be JV. It could be Amir. You know, that's the crazy thing about our team. You know, we got trust in every single person on this team to carry us to a victory, especially in the last 5 minutes. But you know, sometimes they just looked at me more times than often. But like I said, you know, we put that trust factor in every single guy who step out there on that floor.